Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of the Leadership Speaks series. I have the pleasure and honor of inviting a colleague of mine who I met for the first time when I had gone on campus to one of the world's best business schools to hire young B school grads for my company at Infosys. And it's been almost 2 decades of association and friendship, and love to have his views on leadership, entrepreneurship, and his journey as a professional and as an entrepreneur. Welcome to the show, Manish.
Thank you, Rinko. Pleasure to be here, and what a pleasure to stay connected with you for over last 20 years and see both our journeys evolve. And it's nice to be here and talking to you today morning.
Thank you, Manish. And as you know, this is a group focusing on getting more insights on entrepreneurial leadership and how do you get to where you are. So, would love to hear from you, Manish, though I know, but for the audiences, your journey from business school to where you are today as an entrepreneur and chief operating officer at Resolve, how you got here, how you got excited about your whole entrepreneurial journey. I think makes for an exciting story. So, I'd love to hear from you.
Sure. So journey was, it's like you said, I graduated from a B school in India. There were a couple of other friends of mine who are relevant to this picture, who were also with me in the college, and we are always talking about doing something, right? Those were and great times to be talking about. We are graduating from a top B school, which is teaching you all kind of fancy stuff. How are you going to use this knowledge and create some amazing products and services? There was also a time when India was really coming it on its own and was first time creating brands which were truly global brands like Infosys, where both you and me belong, and many other Wipro, TCS, and so on and so forth. To be honest, today these brands are even bigger brands than they were at that point of time. But in India, they were very hot at that point of time. So the idea was there was confidence coming among people at that point of time that we can do something which is big, you know, if not earth-shattering, but meaningful for a lot of people and generate value. So the dream was there, but at that point of time I thought, and so did my two of my friends, that maybe it's time to get some more experience, right? We barely had any experience. We had 3 years of experience before doing MBA, which was in a different industry. So we thought let's go out and figure things out, what's going on out there. And we did, right? So I went into services, largely into services industry, Infosys, and then iGate, which became Capgemini at some point of time, and Tech Mahindra. And my other two colleagues, friends, one of his friend is Uday and one is Saurabh. They went their own path, and they started gaining experiences either in product or running P&Ls and stuff like that. So that time was very good. Learned quite a lot of things, and got some experience in the process. But the burning desire to do something was there. And one thing that I realized was I was in Bay Area actually most of this time, and Bay Area is known for startups and SaaS products and so on and so forth. So while I was in services industry, that itch was not getting scratched. As a matter of fact, I tried to tell some of these companies, and we tried to create products within these companies. But the mindset was different because they don't necessarily. I mean, their DNA is different, right? And they do different things. They provide services. So I think it was a wrong. I was trying to do the wrong thing at the wrong place. They're not SaaS products, and they'll probably not think like that, which is fine because everyone has a different kind of job to do. So then I finally reached back to both my friends, and we were always talking, right? And they had reached certain point in their career as well. AI was just beginning to make waves, and we could see that AI is going to really, really, it's one of the biggest waves that's going to come. It is going to really change how we do business, how we live life, everything, right? Our economy, everything is going to change. So we jumped on that. I took certain risks and started the company. So that was the journey from my college till this point. It was good to get started and jump on it.
That's a great introduction, Manish. And so my next question to you would be: so from coming from one of the best B schools, as you rightly said, yes, it's one of the best B schools I have ever seen. So, and I'm sure your exposure and the kind of peers you had was amazing. How has your evolution been as a leader? How have you evolved as a leader from that time, from campus to now? What has been your journey?
Well, few things about leadership, right? One is that your kids actually teach you a great thing about leadership. You're a father, and so am I. We are lucky to be fathers and parents. And I think they teach you something, because what happens is with kids, you see, they don't do what you say, ask them to do. They do what you do. So if you are doing something, it will be automatically followed. But if you can tell them whatever you want to tell them, that's not, if you are not doing that as well. So the point being that people, initially when we came in into the industry, just like anyone, I thought, give me a VP title or give me a SVP title. And, if I were a CEO, and if I were a CEO, then things will change. And, that's not how leadership works. So leadership, people gravitate towards those people who have solutions, who can lead people to a direction, right? So if you can tell them that I know where to go, I can show you how to reach there, and I can take all of you to the other side, whatever that goal might be. People automatically gravitate towards people who have shown the capability to think for everyone, and capability to take care of everyone and take everyone through the whatever period that we're going through, right? You might be in a hijacked plane, you might be in a business deal, you might be in any kind of situation. The point being, suppose in a hijacked plane, are people going to kind of decide who's the CEO among them? No. Automatically, someone who can think through the problem and provide a right solution and go, they become automatically the leader. So leadership is not something, by the way, and it is a learned thing. You can learn it. It's not something that you're born with. A lot of people think that leadership, either you have it or you don't have it. That's wrong. That's incorrect. You can learn leadership. You can figure out, as long as you're thinking for everyone, not just for yourself, and as long as you are the problem solver, and you're a good communicator, and you can tell people how we are going to reach to the other side together safely, and creating value for everyone. I think people will follow you. And no matter who you are, you might be CEO of a very, very large company, but if people don't believe in you, people don't believe in you. They'll quit. Your stock price will go down, whatever, right? All those kind of things will happen. So people really have to believe in your vision, where you're trying to go, and sign up for that, right? They voluntarily have to say, I really like this girl or this guy, and I'm willing to follow them to wherever they're going, because I believe in them. And that's what leadership is, for me at least.
Well said, Manish. And I think I resonate with you that uh, when you do not have someone who can lead by example or who doesn't have a clear vision, and you do not know where they're headed, right? Um, that automatically kind of puts a question mark on the leadership style. Because if the leader knows, he or she knows where they're headed, I think the rest know that, okay, this guy has a plan. We know where we're headed. Absolutely, very well said. So, as you know, I am looking to get your insights on your entrepreneurial journey as well. So, how did I mean? You did share a little while back about you had this bug, you wanted to try the entrepreneurial journey, of course. But when did it really spark, and how did you get on it, and what has been your experience so far? Because entrepreneurship sounds very sexy, but you and I know that it's more or less gut wrenching most times, and
Yep.
it's most times very
Absolutely.
painful, and sometimes you wonder why you are doing what you're doing.
Yep.
So it's a lonely ride as well sometimes.
Yep.
So I would love to hear from you firsthand. What has been your experience, and
So,
how did you get here?
you're absolutely right. It's not an easy thing. So, and I don't believe it's for everyone, right? Like, just because it's glamorized doesn't mean everyone has to do it, right? It is a tough journey. So if you are going down that path, you should be ready for some good amount of, friction, issues, and so on and so forth. It's not easy. And the way I look at entrepreneurship is this: it is a journey to find answers, the right answers, and the answers have to be precisely right for the problem that you're trying to solve. So first of all, right, you should not start entrepreneurship, just because you want to make money or something like that. That motivation is just wrong. I think the way you have to do is, if there's a problem that you're seeing and there's a better solution to this problem, and you are convinced that nobody else is seeing, or you are seeing a unique perspective of the solution that perhaps you can deliver before anyone else can, in a better shape and form, and so on and so forth. That is the basic seed of why you should do something. So unless until there's a problem that you're seeing and a solution that you know of, you have a vision of, don't jump on it. So if you do have that, then that is the basic criteria. After that, you have to meet certain other criteria, right? Just because you have the idea doesn't mean you can, the idea, our diamond doesn't. A lot of people might have that idea. Now, do you have the execution capability? Do you have the ability to pull the right team together? Do you have the perseverance to go through it? And is this value that you're talking, solution that you're talking about, is a value to people, right? Like, is it something that people will be willing to pay money to, to actually get that solution? So there's a lot of things that you need to think through. For me, essentially, and by the way, one of the key things to being successful is partners, right? I was very lucky to have partners with whom I started, whom I know for 20 years. So when you know people for 20 years, right, they can talk to me and correct me and give me feedback, and I can do the same with them. We can get angry at each other, mad at each other, and we can have highs and lows together. And we know that we'll go through it, right? And we can depend on each other. That's a big thing. And I've been very lucky. Many entrepreneurs do it alone, and kudos to them, because their journey must be like 10 times more difficult than my journey, to be honest, right? But coming back to how it works, I think the way I look at it, I was watching a movie just a few days back. It was about a locksmith. It's on Netflix right now. Some thieves movie where the main hero is a code breaker, right? He breaks these big iron, steel, safes, and he's a safe breaker. He can break them. So he's listening and he's breaking through one and second and third. So, but he, for example, unlocks the first lock, then he goes to the second part and the third lock, the multiple locks in it, right? And once he can unlock all the locks, then he can open the safe. Same thing happens with us. You have to, in our case, only it's not two or three questions. It might be like hundreds of questions sometimes, maybe thousands of questions that you need to answer right. Who's my market? What title of people are going to buy? Why are they going to buy it? What is the competition? What is the competition likely to do? How am I going to reach my customers? How are they going to trust me? Why are they going to trust me? What How easy will it be for them to actually experience the product? How the billing will look like, right? Like tons of aspects. And the way I look at entrepreneurship is, you have to have answers to all of them. You have to figure out the right answers to all of them. When you will start, you will not have answers to many of them, right? You might not have answers to 80% of them, but it's a journey of figuring out these answers. And you keep opening one of these locks, just like video game, you'll keep going to the next level. And you need to unlock a whole lot of these things to reach a level where it is start to generate value for everyone. So it's a problem solving skill, and there will be enough problems to solve. That's I can tell you.
That's true. That's absolutely true. In fact, and in the problems come in various flavors, and you realize what how little you control. You have so little that you control. So I guess that's a big epiphany as well when you come to realize that. So in this journey of yours, you could have chosen a path of uh, you know of least resistance in terms of sticking to the corporate world because your background and so on. You did choose the path of entrepreneurship. So obviously, there's a big desire to achieve something which is different. What kind of challenges did you face in your corporate world and as a now as an entrepreneur, what challenges have you faced other than the problems that you kind of have to encounter and solve? What other challenges have you faced as an entrepreneur?
See, corporate. I'll not start by saying that corporate life is all, bed of roses, right? Corporate life has its own set of challenges. Um, you do get a, salary at the end of the month every month, right? So, and there's a boss who's trying to make sure that you do what you're supposed to do in the bigger picture. The only thing is that I would say is the satisfaction of um, value creation, right? Here in entrepreneurship, you are creating the value of your vision, whatever your vision might be. You are creating value which is aligned to that. And hopefully, if you do it right and if you're lucky, then you're creating value which is value for a lot of people because you solved a problem or you figure out something, right? In corporate world, the value that you'll be generating will be aligned with someone, the corporate world, right? Like whatever they want to solve problem, because they're paying you the wages, so you have to solve the problem that they want you to solve. So it might not or might not be something that you necessarily want to solve, but you still do it because you need our salaries and pay the bills and whatnot. And don't get me wrong, it has corporate world has become very lucrative method as well. It's just a matter of what will make you more satisfied, right? If you think that'll make you more satisfied, go in that direction. The only thing I will say that this is a realization I had, and I would like to share with everyone. People generally assume People generally assume that corporate world is very safe, and they think, listen, I'm getting salary every month, the promotion's coming, I'm going to keep growing, and so on and so forth. The only difference that I find is that you are okay as long as you're okay. And then there might be a day when, suddenly industry change happened or something like that happened. And the skills that you were, going with at 45, 50, 40, even 35, you might find that those skill sets are no longer valid, because things have changed or whatever, and then you are struggling, right? Like you are on your own. So essentially you are anyway on your own. So it is an illusion on the it's a red pill blue pill thing. In the case of corporate world, you are lives into an illusion that I'm safe, everything is fine, things look good, my boss is happy today, I should get a bonus at the end of this year. But and therefore my risk here is lower than going into entrepreneurship where who knows what is going to happen, which is true. Who knows what is going to happen there? But I just want to tell you, you don't know what is going to happen here either. So don't assume that this is safe forever, uh, because you will be, keep updating your skills, do things which will make you valuable in the long run here too, is my suggestion. Don't be under the illusion that this is the safest route and from here till retirement I'm good. That's not the case anymore. Life is tough for anyone.
Very well said. Yes, absolutely, I agree. And I think we live in a world where things have contracted and shrunk. Product life cycles, everything has shrunk, right? So attention span, people, everything has now come down to tweets and so on. So absolutely, it has, and the dynamics have changed as we have experienced in our own professional lives. So my last question for our session today, Manish, is what would your, I'm sure you did share a few nuggets while you were talking, but if you were to kind of bullet down a few good takeaways for young entrepreneurs, budding managers, what would your advice to them be with your 2 decades of experience?
You make me sound old, which I am. I'm older than many.
Well,
Well,
you
it's
have
funny
no
thing.
idea how many decades I have put in. So
I was in India recently, and I was meeting all my dad's friends, and I was like, I'm the youngest dude here. Like I was feeling so young and springy
it's
because I was
relative,
meeting
right?
a bunch
It's
of
all
people who were.
relative.
It's all relative. So, but to your question, I would say just one or two things, which if I hope I knew, I knew exactly with the importance back when I was in 20s. One is you never, as people, what I'm seeing is as people age, from your 20s to 30s, from 30s to 40s, you get set in your ways and you maybe stop learning, and you think you have figured out how you live your life, and you're set in your ways basically, right? And the plasticity of the brain increases. That's what at least my view is. And it can happen at any age, by the way. It's not like age related, but you can be in your 30s and still start to believe that I don't need to learn anything, I know everything. And I think that's a huge hindrance in all of our personal growth. I think we should be extremely curious all the time, till the last day of our life. We should be extremely curious, and we should be very open to new ideas. We should explore new ideas. We should bathe in new ideas. We should challenge what we know. We should challenge our belief. I think we should not stop questioning, because I think if you stop questioning, then the part of your brain which you stop learning, and if you stop learning, then sooner or later you're going to be out of place, right? You're going to get obsolete. So my 2 cents is, keep your curiosity level through the roof, right? Like, be extremely curious about anything that is happening around you, and the area specifically that you want to go in. That is the best thing. And eventually, when you're curious and you're keeping an open mind, you'll automatically become a problem solver, which is what everyone values, right? Everyone values a problem solver. So my 2 cents is, keep an keep absolutely an open attitude, and be very curious about what is happening around you.
Thank you very much, Manish. And honestly, your journey and your successful journey is also, I take that as a little bit of a compliment to myself, that I know how to pick winners when I hire people. So I have the privilege and honor of having picked you. So I feel I might have that skill. So that gives me validation as well.
No, no, no.
So
I mean, it has been an amazing journey knowing you over the last 20 years. You are a person who goes anywhere. Everyone around you smiles, right? Like, everyone around you smiles. You are the light of any room. Wherever you walk into any room, everyone lights up, and everyone feels happy. And then you have the right attitude to live this life. I mean, this is the attitude to live the life. I learn always from you, and thank you so much for having me here today.
thank you, Manish. Thank you for your kind words, and I'll take all of that as my compliments and energy to move ahead in whatever I do. Needless to say, I would love your active participation on the Entrepreneurial Leadership Forum. I want your participation in multiple ways. We are thinking of doing a lot many more things. In fact, this was an idea for entrepreneurs and young students and academicians, leaders. So I'd like to make this a kind of a melting pot, if you will. So I will volunteer your service for this group more actively.
You got it.
And thank you for
Absolutely.
everything, and wish you and Resolve all success. God bless and have a wonderful day, Manish.
Thank you so much. Same to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Manish.